Welcome to the Elevation Edit. I am Felicia Bagsby, your host, and today I am here with Crystal Shelly with Crystal Clear Directions. Hello, Crystal.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am good. Crystal,
Good.
we are here today talking about something that's really important, I think, in our community, and it's about mental health and clarity, community, and trauma.
Correct.
With 20 years experience in human resources, psychology, coaching, and community engagement, what shaped you to start and what was your direction to start Crystal Clear Directions?
Ooh, such a loaded question.
Okay.
Okay, but let me give you a scenario
Okay.
of how Crystal Clear Directions got started, right? Before I got here today, I was approaching, get ready to leave, and I was walking to my truck, and a young lady stopped me. And the young lady said, "Hi, Miss Crystal, how are you?" I said, "I'm doing good." She said, "You look pretty. Where are you headed?" I told her I was headed to do a podcast. I was so
Okay.
excited. She said, "Really?" She had this strange look on her face. And so she was like, You going to do a podcast?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to do a podcast." She was like, "Are you ready for that?" I was like, "What do you mean? Am I ready for that?" At this point, I don't know how to feel about the question that she just asked.
Right.
And she was like, "Are you sure you're ready to do a podcast? Like, I know you've done some things to help people, but how much have you really helped yourself? Are you ready to go on to do a podcast and tell people how to live and how to heal when you're still living in your own healing? Do you really have the power to do that?"
Wow.
Right. It caught me completely off guard. That's how I felt.
So was that really a question that was asked to
That
you?
was really a question that was asked to me.
So with that, it takes me off the cue cards
Okay.
and straight conversation.
Yeah.
When someone believes that you can't be a help to someone just because you're healing is diabolical.
It's diabolical.
So
Right.
how do you feel about that? Let's unpack that, because although you're healing or whatever she may perceive
Mm-hmm.
you going through or what she feels as her narrative, what do you feel about that?
Well, she was me. She was me. See, sometimes when you're working on yourself and you're in the middle of your healing, your new self got to give your old self a straightening. So she was myself telling me and asking me, "Are you really ready to do that? Can you do that? Are you prepared?" So that's how Crystal Clear Coaching started. Crystal Clear Directions is here to help women find themselves,
I
because
love it.
sometimes the biggest enemy is not the
yourself.
people around you, but it's yourself.
I love it. That was
Yeah.
deep.
That's
That
how-
was deep.
that's
so
where
the
we are.
person was you.
It was me.
talking
It was
to
me.
yourself saying, "Are you ready?"
Am I ready?
And
Am I
so many
ready?
times I notice we will do that.
Yeah.
We will self-sabotage because we don't think we're ready.
Yeah, we will. That's called the imposter syndrome. I think we talked about that earlier.
Girl,
You know,
you
and
know
I think maybe about 70% of people struggle with the imposter syndrome. We see a lot of people show up every day and they have on this mask and they look like they're ready and they're ready to fight for the world, but deep down inside they don't even believe in themselves.
they don't even believe in
They don't
themselves.
believe in
So
themselves.
with the Crystal Clear Directions, how do you help? It's almost with the generation today, and not even this generation. We can't even put it on them. We have some in our age group that is suffering from imposter syndrome,
Oh, yes.
that has the trauma.
Yes.
How do you help with that? Because it's almost the saying, God can't help you if he don't know where you are
Right.
or who he's trying to bless if you're pretending to be someone else.
Exactly.
How do you take that on?
Well, I think one of the things when I'm working with the young women and the women that I do work with, a lot of the things that we do like to approach at Crystal Clear Direction Coaching Services is we like to start with the mind first. We have to shift our mindset. We have to shift what our belief systems were. What was the programming that was stored into the operating system that I like to refer to as the mind, right?
Absolutely.
See, a lot of times we don't understand how we get to a place and why did we get to a place until we understand who we are and where we're coming from. And so now we have to do some shift work in the mind. We have to understand, why are we making the decisions that we're making? How can I regulate my emotions, which regulate my responses, which regulate my behavior?
I love it.
Right? So we have to go in and we have to do a framework and we have to break this whole system down. The operating system is what I like to call it. It's just like a computer. We have to go in and we have to do an update. And so when we're feeling like that about ourselves, we have to reset every day. I tell people all the time, when my feet hit the ground, when I wake up in the morning, I thank God for a new day. It's a battle for me. And I have to remind myself that I
Absolutely.
belong here. And this is what I want other women to see. You belong in this space. You
Absolutely.
belong. You should be great. So that's where we are. And this is where I like to start when we're working with women that struggle with those particular issues.
And it's a lot of women that are struggling with whether it's their love life, whether it's where their place should be in their job, in their careers. How do we do that? Because we know people in our own, I don't want to say our circle, but in our own age group that are still fighting who they are in their identity of what they want to do. A lot of times I think, and I would love your opinion on this, a lot of times you can't go where you're going and get to where you need to go because you won't stay still long enough.
Exactly.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit? And if I'm right or not?
Of course. And not that I have all the answers, but
Right.
just from my own experiences, what I know I needed to do and what I encourage women to do is just to take a step back and ask yourself, is everything that you're doing, is it you? Is that something that you want to do, or is that something that you were programmed and told that you should be doing? A lot of times we self-identify by the roles that we have in our lives. If you are a mother, if you work full time, if you are a wife, how you show up in this world, but how much of that is really you? And I think there's a part of our brain called the prefrontal cortex that is about 5% of our consciousness. And in that conscious space, it teaches you about creativity. Who is Miss Baxby? What are her desires, her aspirations? What are the things that she really want to do? While the 95%, the rest of that is the subconscious, right? And in that subconscious lies what is called the theta. The theta represents the hypnosis space.
Okay.
Right? And in that part, that's where everything that we learn how to be and who we are, that comes from a program. The program that was passed down generations and generations and generations learned behavior. So there's when you're talking about the theta, when you talk about the hypnosis, there's a space from the last trimester of pregnancy to the first 7 years of life, according to science. To where everything where we are vibrating at that lowest frequency, that's the theta, that's the hypnosis. So everything that we're taught, we're going to continue to learn, and it's going to grow, and it's going to become a part of us. Your belief systems, whether it's your religion, whether it's who you are in the family member, what's your role. And so we put a part of this and we take this with us every day, and we start to program ourselves, and we're just going, we're existing. But have you ever stopped to say, did you go back to that 5% to say, who am I? What do I want? So we don't separate ourselves from the roles of who we are continuing to be every day. The programming, we'll never figure out what it is that we want for ourselves. And this is what I encourage our women to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something else. For those women that are out there today that get caught in a title, you forget that you're Felicia. I'm Felicia.
Yeah.
You're Crystal. We forget that.
Right.
I want that title. I want this. I want that.
Yeah.
Outside of the title, who are you?
Who are you?
What do you tell those women today that are so caught up on a title that they, once again, miss their blessing because God can identify because of who you're wanting to be?
Usually when I'm dealing with women that's already in that space and they are asking that question, this is someone who wants the answer to the change. So for one, you've already accepted that something with you is not settling, even with this title. Because a lot of times in life, we have these goals that we have set, right? Okay, so when I get to be age 35, I already want to be a CEO. I want to be running my own business. I want to do all these things. And then you get there and you're still not happy.
Still not happy
Because we're putting our happiness and we're putting it, and we think that it's something that we can really control by doing the program. But you've never done a self-check to say, this is a title, but how much of this really define who I really am? I know for a long time, I was reaching these goals. I had to get my degrees. I was going to be the first granddaughter to get her degree. I had to set an example for my other cousins. I was my mom's only child. I was a product of a teen pregnancy. So I had to prove to the world.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, mama, we got this.
I know.
You know what I mean? So even when I reached those milestones, I looked around and I was like, I'm still empty. I'm still unfulfilled. I'm not happy. What is that? So I had to scale back, and I had to do some work, and I had to go out, and I had to start doing my mind work. I had to go to therapy. I had to talk to somebody. And that's how I started realizing, okay, it's time that you step into Crystal versus the title. So we have to learn how to separate the two.
I love that.
Yeah.
Crystal, what has been one of the biggest lessons that you've learned throughout your career at Crystal Clear Directions with some of the youth today that you've seen some of them are crying for?
Oh, man. Most of all, I think just attention and time. Someone to just sit down with them and invest. Even when we are working with the young girls that I work with, a lot of them have already been written off.
Wow.
They've already been written off, whether it's written off in their families or written off in the courts. You know,
But why? Why do you think that's it? Is it because of their behavior?
it's because of environment. Sometimes it can be environment, what you learn, what you've been taught. See, a lot of our girls have mothers who are broken, and their grandmothers are broken.
Generational
So
curses.
generationally, we're passing down this brokenness. We're teaching our daughters how to respond. We're teaching them how to feel. You know what I mean? So this becomes a problem for us because now these young women can't identify themselves because now they're carrying on someone else's trauma that's become their passed down trauma.
Wow.
Right. So most of my girls are looking for someone to confide in and just to give them an ear. You give them about 20 minutes of your time, you've given them the world.
And all they want is to talk.
That's it. They just want to talk. They just want to know that you're there. They just want to know maybe you will come back tomorrow and talk to me again. Or maybe that whatever you got to give me, I hold on to this because nobody's ever given me this before. And it's just a voice. A lot of our children just want a voice. And not in a way that is disrespectful, and not in a way to just say that I'm speaking out of terms because I'm a kid. But sometimes I think we have to create a space to hear a child out.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? The only way we know to help them is by allowing them to tell us the help that they need. Just a small conversation.
And even though Crystal Clear Directions is your company, that's your brand, that's
My
your baby.
Yes.
You also do work with Strickland Youth Center.
Yes.
And of course, that can be, when you hear Strickland, you think of bad kids, you think of problematic, you think of issues that are going on, and that is not always the truth. They're risk youth, but how do you help with that?
Listen,
Tell me your role there.
a lot of those young women there are some of the most talented, interesting, smartest girls I ever met in my life. They don't have a space to show that. They don't have a space to grow in that. Some of them have been in spaces to where they could not even just be a little girl. They had to grow up. You know what I mean?
They had to be a young woman.
They had
really
to be a
fast.
young woman. So when I'm talking to my girls or when I'm interacting with them, I talk to them just like I'm talking with you. Because
Absolutely.
they don't want you to treat them any less or any more. Don't come in, suited up. I come in talking to them straight up. This is what it
Absolutely.
is. And that's why the respect level that they give me when we are having these conversations are the love that is exchanged between us because they know that it's genuine. Again, it goes back to them just wanting to have a voice, wanting to be heard, and wanting a place in life where they can grow and reach their aspirations as well. I love my job.
I love that.
I love my
and
job.
that's so
Yeah.
important. We had a seminar not too long ago, Break the Code, and we talked about that.
Yeah,
You can't,
awesome.
thank you. You cannot put on airs. You have to meet the youth
Yes.
and anyone really, but especially the youth today. You have to meet them where they are.
Right.
You can't put all those fluffs on and all those airs because they're going to see through it.
Exactly.
So with some of the girls that are there, what things are you all doing, whether it's Crystal Clear Directions or Strickland? What are you doing for the community base to show the young ladies that you're there, that you can help them?
Right. A lot of the things that we're doing, I'm over where we create programs for some of the young women and the young men, because I work with the young men at Strickland as well. I don't want to leave my young men out because they're brilliant. They're awesome as well. But one of the programs that we have is a camp that we're actually putting on, which is called the Pink Laces Camp. And in that particular camp, we're giving the girls all the life skills, everything that they think they want that they can have. They'll be getting it from this 3-day camp. They're going to have a lot of fun. They learn how to have healthy relationships, build healthy bonds,
I love
healthy communications. They open up because when they first get there, everybody's kind of excluded and they on their phones at first, but they don't know I'm about to take the phones.
I was about to say,
the
they need to
phone's
be
about to
taken
go.
up. Yeah.
So
And tell us again, what is the name of the program?
the name of this camp is actually called Pink Laces Camp.
Okay, Pink
Right.
Lace.
It's called Pink Laces. And I named it that because girls sometimes they need a space in life, but sometimes we want to just be heard just like young men are heard. So I called it pink laces to represent the color pink of girls, but we want to tie up our laces and we want to take a shot at this life thing too. And so along with some of my other partners that we are partnering with, the City of Mobile Police Department, we come together and we start this camp, and we have wonderful people to come in and talk to the girls about so many different things, whether it's domestic violence, healthy relationships, entrepreneurship. Because a lot of our girls, they are talented. They're doing nails and hair.
Tell me about
They're doing all these wonderful things, and they can make money hand over fist. And I want to present to them, because what it might look like, success might look like for somebody else, might not look like that for you, and that's okay.
That's right.
My mom was a beautician.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So that's how she raised me and took care of me. So I'm a big believer in entrepreneurship and knowing that whatever it is that you want to do, that you can. School isn't for everybody. If it is for you, we'll reach that stone and we'll get you where you need to be. But there's so many options. And so we have these different programs, and we have wonderful people to come in and talk to the girls. Had a young lady to come in that does nails. She came in and she did the whole process with them, and they loved it.
I love it.
Every girl was, because someone is taking their time to come out.
Just giving them a minute.
Giving them a minute, and it's all about them. That weekend is all about them. So those programs that we bring in at Strickland look a little something like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
What do you think why do you think so many young ladies today, not just people, lose sight of who they truly are? Not just because of the upbringing, but just who they are as they grow up.
When you talk about lose sight, I don't think they ever knew who they were from the beginning.
Okay.
They never really knew. They're trying to find it.
They're doing any and everything.
They're doing any and everything. They're getting in these relationships. You know what I mean?
In love at 19.
We're not going to even talk about the cloud that you're on when you're in love. Have you blinded? Girl. Okay? We've all been there. But, they get into these relationships, or they group off with people who may come off like they love them, but it's a counterfeit process. Everybody that comes into your life is not real. And so these young ladies have to learn the ability and the skills to determine who's real, who's for me, and who's not. But a lot of times they don't have those skills because they just want love. So we're talking about losing an identity, but for most of my girls, they've never even found it. They're trying to create it, right, with the skills that they have, which is not always a lot.
So let me ask you this. When they don't even know their identity and they go back home to that setting where everything is lost and broken and chaotic.
Yes.
They come to you Monday through Friday.
Right.
They go back home Saturday through Sunday, or even that evening, back to that chaos. That some of the things that they didn't tell you. What do you do with that? How can you help to let them know that there is a rainbow?
Right. And that's the biggest challenge we have. These children have to go back home, whether they've done their time with us and now it's time to go back into society, which that's where my role come in as transitional program coordinator while working at Strickland, which is different from what I do with my coaching. But that's the biggest challenge. And that's why we ring the bell, we ring the alarm. The judge that I work for, I always talk about community involvement, getting the community partners involved. Let's get some resources out here where these girls can get, young men and young women can transition back out into society with more resources that they had coming in than they do now. We have more coming out, because a lot of times that's the obstacle, that's the barrier. They don't have a lot of resources. Right. Some of them don't even have, transportation. You know what I mean? Running water. Sometimes food. So our goal is to make sure and work along with the probation officers to make sure that these girls have everything they need, and young men, I'm sorry, but we've been talking about girls for so long, but make sure that these kids have what they need. So now when they go back out into that challenging environment, which is really challenging, and also offering the parents resources.
That's what I was.
That's where we really started. Now, a lot of times we don't have a big buy-in with parents when they're already at the space, when they're at Strickland, but we do have some parents that are working alongside with myself and the probation officer and the judge, and they really want to see their kids turning around. And those kids have a higher success rate, because we can't control what the environment is that they're going back into. But what we can do is try to make sure that they have resources embedded around them that would just kind of smooth over those barriers they didn't have before.
Can you give an example of one of the young ladies or young men that circumstances were really dire?
Oh, yeah.
That you felt like, I hate to even see them go home.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example of that?
Definitely. There's a young lady that we were working with whose stepmom, her foster mom, had passed away. But before she had gotten to her foster mom, she had been through probably about 7 foster homes before that. She had experienced some SA, which is sexual abuse, in those homes as a foster child.
Here.
And that mother that passed away was the one mother that showed her so much love, that was starting to give her the life. She was building the trust factor with her. She had bonded with this lady. Lady ended up having cancer and she passed away. And so she had to leave her home and go into another foster home where sexual assault happened again, and she was impregnated.
She got pregnant?
Yeah, she was impregnated. So these are the things that we're working with. In some cases are not that severe, but when we're talking about needing some community support and community partners for girls and men that are struggling with this, because it's not just girls that struggle with this.
Right.
We also have young men that struggle with this.
So what does community support look like?
Community support looks like, let us team up. Let Crystal Clear Directions and let Elevation Edit team up and see what we can do for this family. Let's see if we can provide them some resources. Let's see if we can fill their refrigerator with food. Let's see if we can get them some education. Let's talk about employment. Do the parents have employment? Maybe they don't. Let's talk about getting to school. If the kid is no longer in school because now they've been dismissed from the public school system, let's talk about maybe getting their GED or their high school diploma, and then finding them afterwards even continuation with education or employment, then changing those barriers and working with community partners. And I'm like, hey, we do this over here. Send over here. We'll work with it. We have the family center that we work with, the Mobile Police Department that we work with, USA. We have so many wonderful community partners that we team up and we say, hey, we're giving these services for this particular thing. Let's bring that family in. Let's see what we can do to help them.
I love that.
So that's what community service
If we
looks like.
wanted, or any business or anyone wanted to do some community outreach and to help with you, to help with Crystal Clear Directions or to help with Strickland, are there criteria that the youth or the parents have to follow? If we wanted to say donate X amount of dollars or donate time or donate it, is there things that they have to follow to make sure that they're going to stay a good candidate? Or is that just something we have to hope and pray for?
Well, we definitely have to hope and pray for, because we even have, sometimes we have people that show up one way and sometimes the motive can be differently. And that's just on the unfortunate side, because now we have other community partners and people that want to come in and work with these kids. I have people that want to meet with me all the time to see how can I partner with Strickland to see what we can do for the girls or what we could do for the boys in the back, or how can we build this program, because they want to give to the community, right? And so in order for that to happen, we'll sit down, we have a meeting. Of course, you have to meet with Judge Naaman. He meets with everybody that comes through to make sure that this is a good fit for Strickland, because we do have to protect our babies. And we do have to make sure that this is something that we're not already receiving, but we can never receive too much. But just kind of sitting down, reaching out to me and saying, hey, let's have a meeting. I'll schedule that between myself and the judge. We'll sit down and have communication with this individual and see if this is a program that would be helpful with Strickland Youth Center and the children that we service.
I love that. What is the age group of Strickland?
Strickland, we've taken them as young as 9
9
before, but typically they're going to be probably 12 and up to the age of 17. By the time of 18, you age out and you have to go to the next system, which would be Metro and adult.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So for your company, for Crystal Clear Directions, tell me about that. What is your age group?
My age group is anyone but from ages of 20, and I service women.
Okay.
So anyone from the ages of 20 plus up. Anywhere up. I'm working with young women and young adults and adult women, and either, even those past the age of 60 if they want to come in and get the help.
I love that.
In any
So you're not turning any age group down that wants that help from you?
I will never turn away any female that will want
that.
to work. Anybody that I can help, that's my purpose. That's my assignment. That's why Crystal Clear Directions is here. And so we won't turn anybody away.
I love that.
Yeah.
How can churches, schools, nonprofits, and local organizations partner with Crystal Clear Directions to make it a greater impact? What can we do to help you?
Yes.
And I want you to look in your camera.
Yes.
What can we do to help you to get what you're doing? Because that's a lovely thing.
Yeah. Well, you can always reach out to crystalcleardirections.com. That's my website. You can always reach me there. I'm on any platform, social media wise. You can reach out to me. And what help will look like for us is just putting things together for the women that I service. You know what I mean? To see if they have the things that they need. It's no different than what we're doing at Strickland.
Right.
Let's service some of these women, because a lot of times women don't have the space They don't have the physical space,
talk about
the
it.
mental space,
Right.
or the emotional space to provide themselves the things that they need to be greater in their healing, especially when we're talking about trauma.
Absolutely.
You know, because
we're afraid to unpack.
we're afraid to
We're
unpack.
afraid to unpack because
Right.
it exposes so much.
It exposes so much, and the biggest person that it exposes to the most is to yourself.
Yes.
And sometimes looking in that mirror, I remember there was a point in my life to where when I would get up and brush my teeth in the morning, I wouldn't look in the mirror. I would not look in the
Really,
mirror. Oh
Crystal?
my God, girl, this is why Crystal Clear Directions exist. Because dealing with women who struggle with those insecurities, with the trauma, I had a lot of trauma in my life, right?
Okay.
And so those things will make you question who you are.
Okay.
Again, the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Am I good enough? You know what I mean? Can I be the things that people want me to be? So for a long time, I noticed I wouldn't look at myself in the mirror.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because
Okay.
I think the fear in my eyes of saying I really see you is what scared me the most. So as long as I could fool myself, I could fool anybody else.
But looking in that mirror, you
Oh,
had
my
to
goodness.
acknowledge.
Oh,
what
I
you
had
saw.
to acknowledge because a lot of times, like I said earlier, we'll mask up and we'll put on the
yeah.
pretty clothes and the
Yeah.
makeup. I do it all the time, every day. I love it.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll do that because it becomes a part of how we cope. It's the lack of coping skills. Coping skills are very important.
Yeah.
And so because I couldn't identify my true self and who I really was, and I felt so empty, I didn't want to face the man in the mirror because facing the man in the mirror was so scary because I knew my deepest secrets. But did I want the world to know? And could the world handle that? You know what I mean?
So what do you say to someone like with me? You know what? I don't have a problem with unmasking
Good, very good.
to anyone.
Very
You know,
good.
I don't have a problem with unmasking, but I don't think that I'm healed. There's no perfect person out there.
Right.
So I don't want to sit here and say that. But for someone that is not shy to unmask,
Right.
what do you do for that? When you're not, it's like, okay, I'm exposed. What do we do now?
What do we
It's
do
for
now?
you to deal with it. I'm okay with it.
Right. Because that's the beauty and the blessing of realizing that, okay, this is something that I don't struggle in that area. You might struggle in one area, I might struggle in another.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So where you're already in the space to where you're saying to yourself, hey, I don't have no problem, you know, exposing myself. So what next? So what next is we start doing the framework. And what does that look
framework.
like for you? What would your plan look like? Because everybody's plan is going to look different.
And everyone
depending on what
has
you
something.
need.
Although exposure is never my
Right.
soft spot or weakness, it doesn't mean that there's not something there.
Right.
So I got
Exactly.
that. And that's what Crystal Clear Directions will do.
Right.
You'll help us break that down and do the
Oh,
framework.
yeah. We're here for empowerment. We're here for trauma coaching, relationship coaching. Let's talk about self-abandonment. Let's talk about the operating system and how it impacts us. Let's talk about the beliefs of everybody else. Let's talk about daily living. How do I exist in this world every day? That's what Crystal Clear Direction Coaching Services do. We work with individuals as well as we teach workshops on these different topics and we break it down. We want you to understand the core of why everything is happening to you. Why? Because a lot of people want to know how, but for Crystal, I want to know the why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can see a young lady and they can be in distress, and the first thing we want to do is make a comment about it. But for me, I'm interested in
Why?
understanding what's taking place there.
Why?
I want to
Why is
dissect
this
that thing.
happening?
Right, because we can save her. We can save her.
I love that.
You know what I mean? And so that's what Crystal Clear Directions is
and
here
it's so
for.
needed.
Yeah, it's
so
needed.
needed.
It's needed. And I do want to explain the difference between coaching and counseling.
Please.
Counseling is when you go and you see a licensed therapist and they get a treatment plan. They talk with you on certain things that you guys work on together. Coaching is I'm going to go outside. I'm going to work out with you alongside you. We're going to create a plan, but I'm going to actually teach you how to solve your own problems.
And that
I'm
is
not
what you
here
do.
to do it for you.
I
So
love
we're
it.
going to put some things and some techniques in place where you're going to start doing a self-check and you're going to start saying, well, I probably should have did A instead of doing B. And we start putting those things into play. You know what I mean? So coaching is someone that walks along with you, not going to do the job for you, but I'm going to coach you while you're out there. And I'm going to make sure that you have the skills that you need.
So you're holding all of the young women accountable.
Accountability.
You have to be
Most
accountable for
definitely.
your youth.
Yes.
I
And see,
love
the
it.
thing about accountability is sometimes we hadn't even got to accept it first.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So before we can even get into accountability, I got to get somebody to accept where they are. And a lot of times I
that's
don't always
difficult,
win.
isn't it?
Sometimes I don't always win.
Because a lot of times we don't
Yeah.
want to accept
We
it.
don't
We see
wanna
that in
accept it.
adult life. You
Every
don't want to
time.
accept your reality.
You don't want to
This
accept
is
it.
the reality. Now, how do you move past
How
that?
do we move past it? And for me as a coach, for someone who wants to be able to help someone get better, I have to realize, okay, that person is not ready. You know, I'm here when they are, but they have to be ready. You have to be ready to do your own framework. You have to be ready for that. If you're ready, we're going to go to war together.
So what if they come in with tape for their frame? Do you take those layers?
We'll take it. We'll take it.
They got
to come off at some point. Yeah. And you're going to be the one to take it off, not me.
I love
You're
that.
going to take it off. You know what I mean? Because you're not standing in front of me.
Because if they come long enough, you'll know tape is on there.
Oh, we'll know. I know. Yeah.
I love it.
Usually tape, everybody has tape on the frame.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So that's usually how it goes. But you'll take the tape off when you're ready to walk in your healing, and you're ready to walk in growth. You know what I mean? And seeing yourself for who you are, and learning that being selfish is okay sometimes.
It's absolutely okay.
I tell people, don't let people tell you that being selfish is a bad thing.
You have to be.
You have to be. I can't give you anything if I don't have anything for myself.
You just can't.
We can't. And so we're trying to work on the mindset here at Crystal Clear Direction Coaching Services. I hear a lot of people talking about, I want to change my circumstances, right? So I'm going to work on changing my circumstances. But you can't change your circumstances until you change your mindset.
I had a conversation with one of the stylists just the other day, and it was so funny. We were laughing. It was a very laid-back conversation. And she said, I'm very self-aware now.
Oh, yeah.
What she said was ridiculous, but I loved it because she said, I'm not delusional. I'm very self-aware. And I thought that was so funny, but in the moment when I got in the car, I said, you know what? She unboxed all of that, and she knew it was unrealistic. But for her at 21 to say, I'm self-aware, does this sound crazy? But I still like the way it sounds.
I like the way it sounds.
I like
self-awareness. That is so important. And my self-awareness and your self-awareness could look
It's gonna be
different.
It's gonna be different.
It can be different.
Yeah.
And it's not my job to accept your self-awareness. You have to accept it. So if that's where you are and you're good there, I'm good too.
Because some people may call it a patio. I call it a TV room.
Yeah, see.
Let's go to the TV room.
Come on now.
It's all
in perception. In Florida, we call it a little knot.
I love it. You see what I mean? It's all about perception.
It is. It's about perception. And that's another thing that we work on too. Perceiving information, how we receive it, why we're receiving it that way. You can say one thing in this room, and the both of us could have two different perceptions on what that means.
And it doesn't mean it's wrong.
It doesn't mean it's wrong, because like my husband tell me all the time, two things can be right at the same time.
Oh, mine say that too. You know that.
Mine's live by it.
Right.
So, with that being in mind, self-awareness is such a beautiful thing.
I love that.
And if you are aware of who you are, and if you love self,
I know that's right,
then we already winning.
You're already winning.
You're already winning. And that's what we're here for.
If you could leave the city of Mobile with one message about mental well-being, healing, resilience, and moving forward to the young ladies of the city of Mobile, Alabama, what would you tell them?
See yourself. See yourself. With Crystal Clear Directions, my logo and one of my statements is finding you, right? So if you could see yourself, really see yourself, even in the middle of whatever you're dealing with, it don't have to be pretty, right? But if you step outside and you really see yourself, then that means that the resilience, the growth, the healing, everything else is going to unfold. Because once we crack that code, once we realize, okay, there's some work to do and I'm going forward, the code is cracked. So see yourself. Believe
You know what
yourself.
I used to tell myself all the time growing up?
Yeah.
Felicia, you don't ever have to know what you're going to do in life, where you're going to go, what job you're going to have, what man you're going to marry.
Right.
But you got to know who you are.
There you
I used to always tell myself
Yeah.
that, and it's in one of my journals, but I used to always, I got to know who I am.
Who am I?
All of the rest will figure itself out. But if
Yes.
you don't know who you are,
Right.
you are lost.
You're lost. You're lost. And that's so important.
Yeah.
And that's what I encourage the girls to do all the time. Please know who you are. Finding you is so important. You
I
can't
love
find
that.
anybody else. You can't find that man.
I-
You can't
listen,
you can't help that
but y'all-
child. If you
Who's
ain't
looking
found
for him?
yourself,
Yeah, who's looking for
who's
him?
looking for him?
Who's looking for
Who's
him?
looking for him?
And
Find
who's
you.
raising that child?
Who's raising that
And
child?
that's why the youth and the young ladies are like that today, because who's raising you?
Right.
Someone that's already lost.
Right, exactly. So now we got to break the pattern.
And now it's a generation.
Yeah,
now.
it's a generation. And see, sometimes most of us don't want to accept that we've been the chosen ones to be the chain breakers in the family.
Yes.
The chain breaker from all the ancestry.
A lot of us don't want it.
We don't want it. We don't want it because we might be afraid of how great it really might make
But you know
us.
what? I think a lot of it is, you said something earlier on, a lot of people don't want to look in that mirror.
Yeah. Oh, that mirror is
Because when you look
scary.
in that mirror, you see exactly what you think others see, but they don't even see
They
it.
don't
You're
even
really
see
looking
it.
at your
You're
reality.
really looking at your reality.
I love that.
You are. And that's why I tell people all the time, finding you is so important. Please do that for me. Please find yourself. Whatever you need to do to get whatever you need for you, make that the main priority in your life. Everything else will follow through.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to end it with this last question.
Oh, boy.
What does success look like for Crystal Clear Directions over the next 5 years?
I'm trying to sell out arenas.
I know
No,
that's
I'm just
right.
I'm trying to sell out
Baby,
arenas.
speak it,
No.
and you will.
But
and you
success for
will.
me is if I can help, I don't care if it's 5 people. If
Yeah.
I can help you find yourself, if I can give anything to your growth, any information, any copings, any framework, any plan, anything I can do to help any woman, that's success for me.
I
That's
love
my
you, Crystal.
assignment. That's my assignment. That's what I'm here for. That's my purpose. It took me a long time to really walk in this because, again, I was questioning where I'm at my own self. But the more I do this work, the more I know I'm right where God has me to be. And
You
I'm
said
here.
something, and I said we were going to end it, but we can't because you said something that I just told Sabrina yesterday. I said, I actually love what I do. Geriatrics. part.
Yeah.
I said, I love what I do. But you said that a couple of times
I love
here.
it.
Did it take you a long time to surrender to God and say, okay, God,
I
this
hear
is
you.
it. Yes,
You
I
know
hear
what?
you.
You know what God did?
What did he do?
God gave me a beautiful man
All
that
right
gave
now.
me 2 beautiful daughters.
Okay.
And my daughters, I'm not going to get emotional. My daughters are the light of my life. God giving me my daughters was him showing me my purpose. I said, God, you gave me girls.
I know what you mean.
Girls?
I was the same. Yes.
This is somebody who didn't even want to have kids.
Let's talk about
Right?
it. Yes.
I had an attitude with God when he was like,
Yes.
you're pregnant?
Mm-hmm.
You gave me girls twice. And so I knew that that was a message for me because I know that the one thing I want my girls to know is who they are, to be better than what I ever was, and to join the movement with me. And so I get to work with my babies every day and making them great. They are such a part of this mission. So when God gave me my girls, I knew then that I'm walking in
You
my
had to be
purpose.
obedient.
I'm walking in my light. I'm an only child. And I've always had a million girlfriends. You know, that God has been good in that area. But he gave me my daughters. And when he gave me my daughters, I knew then it was time for me to heal. I knew then I could no longer mask it because it started coming out in the way that I was
tape
raising
on
my
the framework.
No tape on the framework. I had to pull it off. I
Okay.
had to see myself. And that's because God gave me them. And for them, I need to be great. I need to be healed.
How old are your babies?
10 and 20.
I love Okay, so that 20-year-old,
Oh, my 20-year-old.
she's looking at the frame.
Listen, she's looking at the frame, and it's so important that is my baby. Both of them, I love them. God gave me wonderful girls.
I love
But
that.
that 20-year-old is in the space where she's going into young adulthood.
Yes.
So she's watching mommy really closely.
She is the 10-year-old is glancing.
Oh, she's glancing. She's
but
glancing.
that 20-year-old,
The 20-year-old. See, the
she's
10-year-old
watching.
is looking at mommy and sister.
Absolutely.
But that sister is looking solely at me. She's my protege.
I love
and
that.
so everything that I get, I want to always give it to her. I'm always
love it.
giving her information. I'm teaching. I'm trying to make her better. But the other part is she teaches me.
I love
She
it.
teaches me, and I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm like,
You're
okay,
taking it in.
I'm taking it in. They teach me something about myself. I know once a week.
But that's good, and
It's
that's what the
awesome.
youth is missing
Yeah.
because we can learn from
Yeah.
them.
Oh, we can.
We can learn
from them.
so much.
I'm an open ear when my children
am
start to
too.
talk. I don't stop them. I tell them, hey, you have free speech. Say what you need to say. I want this platform to be for you because you have a voice and you get to use it. So,
And I know 5 minutes ago I said I was ending, but it kept getting good. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
A lot of times the girls want to talk,
oh, yeah.
but they don't have that safe space. Does Crystal Clear Directions give that? No matter
yes.
what it is, you
We
can give
do.
that safe space.
We have the safe space
I
for the
love
girls,
that.
and we're even willing to teach the mothers
I
how to
love
have a safe space.
and no judgment.
No judgment. So we have these forums where the mother and daughters can get together and learn how to communicate with each other, learn how to hear and listen, not listen to respond, but listen to understand. And know that you can teach your children a lot, but we can also learn a lot from them.
Yes.
And so those are the forums that we are actually setting up for Crystal Clear Direction. We want to be able to teach mothers and daughters how to communicate. Let's
that.
break this chain
Yes.
and let's get together on our healing so we can heal together and have wonderful relationships
Before
Change
we
the
end it,
patterns.
please tell us again about
Yeah.
the event that's coming up, the Pink Lace. Tell us
Oh, we
about
have
it,
Pink
the
Laces.
location,
The
and
Pink
everything.
Laces will be taking place October 9th, 10th, and 11th. It's going to be down at the Bishop State Community Center on Dauphin Island Parkway. I think it's 325 Dauphin Island Parkway. You can reach me concerning the Pink Laces camp at Crystal Shelly at Mobile County, Alabama.gov. At any time, please reach out. Please come out. We have over 100 vendors that are there for just women, their health and their wellness. I think a couple of years ago, Dr. Rock spoke at that actual
okay.
event. So this will be my 4th year doing the breakout session. It's wonderful. That's another event I would like for people to come out and take advantage of, especially women, because it's actually the start of healing with your mental health and your health and wellness.
Okay, all of this information, guys, will be on our Instagram page. It will be on our YouTube page. I will leave it in the captions and cannot wait for you all to come out, support. If you know any young babies that need this, that are in surrounding areas, please reach out to Crystal Clear Directions. She is here for you. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you. This was awesome. Thank you.
See?